2015 Hellcat. Okay, well, we all know the Hellcat is the bad boy, but someone did some custom modifying here, and you'll see some things that are not original. Can you spot them? I'll start zooming in on it. Check this out. Okay, so we got our homemade jobby here. So here's the sensor wires, his power wires. 24 volt. Yeah, solenoid. This is from HVAC stuff. But check this out. We got what looks like water pipe here for water pipe thread. We got water pipe thread sealant from brass to stainless steel valve. Let me zoom in for you guys who might recognize this. Take a look at that. Okay, and then we're going into what, yeah, no, that's the original air conditioning hose. So here's your fittings for your air conditioning, and we have pipe clamp, regular old hose clamp from a radiator like on your air conditioning hoses. And this hose right here, they put some wrap around it to make it look good. You know, well, it doesn't look good, but that's going to the compressors down there. So the suction is going this way. You have a suction line coming here to the T. We have this suction line here that has a valve that can stop the air conditioning from your cabin, so you can divert all the cooling. Let's get over here. You're going to see something that's not factory here. Okay, this is the original intercooler right here for the glycol. And here's the glycol loop, and the air conditioning, here's the glycol pump. But look what they did. They put a secondary or bypass. I haven't gone over it in detail yet. This is a plate heat exchanger. Again, here's our glycol loop. Here's our glycol loop. And here's our air conditioning here. They got some clamps there. You got a 1960s, 1970s old automotive expansion valve. Check this out. Right there. So here's your high pressure hose with your liquid feeding, and the liquid feeds in here, and it comes out low pressure suction here, and it goes into the plate heat exchanger, exchanging the hot glycol for cold refrigerant, picking up the heat in the refrigerant circuit, so cold glycol could go back to feed the plate heat exchanger, glycol heat exchanger. Think evaporator in your cab, except underneath this intake manifold there's a heat exchanger to cool off the hot supercharged air that goes in here. So you're literally cooling off there. And then let's see, what else do they have here that's kind of custom? So yeah, I don't have time. I got to get on because I got a shitload of work to do. But looks like they have a leak, or they had a leak. Either that's why they bypassed it, or this is an add to modification. But they got a leak in their heat exchanger here. Oh no, that's for their glycol tank. They got a little leak, a slight leak in it, just a little bit. But yeah, some custom carbon fiber, custom. This is not factory. Yeah, I wish I had more time to get into depth on that right there. You can see the compressor. What's that look like? I'm trying to look way down there. I almost look like I almost see a little rust pattern at the tip of the clutch, like it got hot, slipped, and the paint came off, and then it rusted from overheating from slippage. But I can't see it real clearly, but that's what it looks like. Yeah, so somebody is doing their homebrew makeup with a plate heat exchanger for their glycol loop for cooling off their compressed air going into the engine. Pretty ingenious. I guess that's their way of completely eliminating all the cooling from going to the passenger compartment, and make sure all the energy that's possible from this compressor is going into the plate heat exchanger to do as much cooling as possible for that supercharger under there. Because see, right under here is the supercharger. and the supercharger is cooled off by the air. Where in the hell is their air one? It's like they something is eliminated here. Something's missing. I don't get to see too many Hellcats. I've only got to see a few so far. And but I thought the Hellcat had an air exchanger first, a heat exchanger that cooled the compressed air first. Maybe that was on a later year. This is a 2015. But I thought they had an intercooler for cooling off the air first, and that dropped it like 10 degrees or so. It took some of the heat load off through an air intercooler first, and then it put it through the glycol loop, where it dropped it another 40 degrees of the intake manifold air, another 42 degrees, so you have a more dense cool air going into the cylinders for combustion to get more horsepower. So I got to do my homework, because this is a 2015, and I think either they modified it or the factory didn't have it at that time, where they have the air cool intercooler plus the glycol loop, all to do the work to cool down the hot compressed air from the supercharger. So a little more research needs to be done to this. I gotta get off to work, but I thought this was a cool little do-it-yourselfer, even though he did use water pipe for and hose clamps on his air conditioning, but I guess they got it working, and that's pretty cool. You know, a prototype kind of thing. Pretty cool. All right, guys, I'll see ya.